What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Tamar Braxton Get Your Life Season 1, Episode 3 review. So on tonight's episode, we start off with production arriving at Tamar's house. They haven't really spoken to her in the last few days. So they're there. It's like 9 something in the morning. They set up everything, got all the equipment ready. And then Michael Beck, one of the producers on the show, comes down and tells the crew that he received an email from Tamar's lawyer asking them to leave the premises. According to him, Tamar has strict doctor's notes that she can't speak because her throat, in last week's episode, she was having issues with her throat or whatever. So production packs up or whatever. But my thing is, why didn't you just let them know beforehand about the doctor's note that you weren't able to film instead of having your lawyer tell them to exit the premises? Like, that was a lot, had these people waste their time coming over there, setting everything up. It was rude. It was fucked up. Like, they was looking like, are you kidding me? Like, that girl got so much drama and negativity in her life. Jesus Christ, I can see why things happened to her the way that they ended up happening. Because, like, you can't live in that type of chaos and environment every day without having fucking a mental breakdown or some shit. So 2 days have passed since they last filmed. And Tamar has to perform in Baltimore, where she's from, in 2 days, but she's not ready because her voice isn't all the way healed. So Michael Beck and Goldie are the only ones out of production traveling with her to the show. So Tamar arrives in Baltimore. She says that she doesn't like going home ever since her niece died. She does sound check, but it's very stressful. She seems stressed out. She just looked somber, in a bad mood. David arrives, and we find out that he's planned a meeting with Tracy's husband that Tamar doesn't even know about. And once again, I'm like, why does he even feel comfortable enough having side conversations with her family without her knowing? First, it was last week with the Logan thing that he reached out to Logan before he even reached out to her. Now you're reaching out to her sister's husband to talk. Yeah, he might have had good intentions. Who knows with this nigga? But it's still, to me, a violation, and he just does stuff to me that is very suspect. So Tracy's husband arrives, and we find out that Tamar and Tracy haven't spoken in almost a year at this point. So Kevin asks, have Tamar and David come to the house since they've been there? And David was like, no, because of what happened in Napa Valley. He was like, family doesn't do that to each other. Remember, on the last season of Braxton Family Values, Tracy ended up falling out with Tamar, Tony, and Tawanda at the winery. She acted a plumb damn fool. So Kevin says, I told Tony all Tracy needs is support. I call, a call just to say I love you. David was like, well, what happened, with the sisters? And Kevin goes on to tell him the story about how when they were all young, they got the record contract. All the sisters had to sign on, but Tracy couldn't sign on because she was pregnant, and she felt like the other sisters didn't ride with her and say, Tracy still signed the contract, we got you. They just basically was like, bitch, you pregnant, you out the group, or whatever the case may be. And she didn't feel like they had her back. But once again, we've discussed this. That was 30 something years ago. The fact that you're still holding on to that child is ridiculous. I understand it hurt. I understand. But you act like they went on to be TLC or Destiny's Child or hell, even In Vogue, goddammit. Shit, Escape. They didn't even pop off. You are mad over opportunity that didn't even go no fucking where. Their group did nothing. It did nothing. Like, so why are you so upset? I can see if they went on to be the Supremes. That little group that they had went on to be nothing. Tony ended up going solo, and now years later, Tamar finally has her career in singing. So I don't understand what you're so hung up on and what you're so mad about, Tracy. Like, those are issues that you have to personally deal with. We all have gone through issues or things in life where there was an opportunity that was presented to us that doesn't come through. You can't continue to dwell on that. I've had plenty of opportunities, plenty of carrots dangling in my face that have really hurt me, but I ain't sitting up today still tripping off some shit that happened 4-5 years ago. Girl, no, that is your issue, child. So David says if Tamar and Tracy heal their relationship, the whole family heals. Let's figure out how to get them together. Come to the show tonight. I don't necessarily agree with that statement. It would make things a lot easier, would make things a lot better. But that family has deep-rooted issues that go all the way back to their parents and the cheatation that happened between their parents, the way their mother raised them, the bitterness in their mama. That family has a lot of deep-rooted issues that go beyond Tracy and Tamar. So Kevin was like, I'll talk to Tracy. The guys had a really good conversation. So Tamar and Goldie do a relaxation session before her second sound check. And it seems to work because the second sound check, from what they showed us, seemed to go off without a hitch. So it's time for the show. Tamar does a great job. The show is a success. No one, however, from her family showed up, not even her dad or whatever the case may be. But I always felt like that daddy was fake. He ain't had shit to do with their asses for damn near 10 years. And as soon as they got that show, his ass wanted to pop up and be daddy dear. So child, please. So David comes backstage after the show and says that Tamar was like, dream works. I believe it. And David, they pan the camera on him and he kind of like looking with a smug look on his face. And in his confessional, he said, I don't know what Goldie's motives is with Tamar, but I do know I need to know more. Once again, what does this have to do with you? This is not David, get your life. This is David, take your ass back to Africa because ain't nobody got time for you and your foolishness. Every episode is about David and what David feel and what David is not comfortable with and what David ain't gonna allow. Like, I thought this was Tamar's show. I thought that she was a celebrity. I thought that she was the one that didn't even really want to do the show. But it seemed like every episode, you are the main motherfucking attraction. And I just cannot. So back home from the show, Tamar's on the phone with David in her glam room and she looks stressed out. And I have been in that position, being on the phone with a nigga and he is draining all the energy out of you. That shit is so toxic. It is so disturbing. I will never go back to that space again in my life because that shit kills your fucking soul when you got a negative ass man in your life that don't mean you no fucking good, that's low-key jealous of you and want to fucking be you, child. Woo, that's a whole other story. So Tamar says, you're pushing the way you feel on everybody else and it's not right because they're talking about the Goldie situation and about the DreamWorks stuff. So David said that he wants to know what he will tell his family about DreamWorks if they come on the show because they've been invited. So I think he was like, his sister and brother-in-law or some shit was supposed to be coming and filming or whatever. But my thing is, DreamWorks ain't got nothing to do with them. Unless the producers were trying to set up a DreamWorks with you and your family and Tamar, what does that have to do with them? Nothing. So Tamar says, you explained it wrong and you're imposing your feelings onto them. And David say, I am not. They formed their own opinion. In Africa, I saw voodoo in progress. What if Goldie's a witch? Tamar's like, what the fuck? Now, granted, there have been, rumors throughout the years about the Illuminati and people doing things to get into the industry and, witchcraft and stuff like that. And everything is not of God. You do have to be careful, but everything ain't the devil. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's a different practice than what you're used to, whether it's Christianity or, being Baptist or whatever. There's so many different spiritualities throughout the world with different practices. That doesn't mean that it's not of God. I think people need to understand that. And I don't even think that what Goldie's doing has anything to do with God. It's just interpreting your dreams to see what those meanings are to your life. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that it has anything to do with witchcraft or of God or anything like that. I think that he's reaching. Once again, I think that he's trying to make everything about him and trying to make him be the star of the motherfucking show. And it's working because Tamar's allowing it. So Goldie comes in and asks what's wrong. And Tamar tells her that she didn't dream the night before and that David is apprehensive about the progress. Goldie in her confessional say, I signed on to work with her, not him. And I was like, amen. So David calls back to see if Tamar understands where he's coming from. And Tamar tells him that he's being very discouraging, which he is. And then I don't know who that guy is that works for Tamar. I don't know if he's her manager, her assistant, the big guy, but he had made a joke about, you know, you better tell Goldie, you know, not to walk around with all black on and a hat around his family looking like a witch. And lo and behold, that's what she had on. So he tries to help her change her outfit. And if I was Goldie, I would have been like, I'm not changing the way I look to appease this man. Be wearing all black equates to me looking like a fucking witch. Get the fuck out of here. I'm a grown ass motherfucking woman. If he don't like the way I look, oh the fuck well. Not about to change myself to appease this motherfucker when he walking around here looking like a goddamn crypt keeper, looking like he need to be in the movie Anaconda. Like, boy, bye. So she, however, goes along with it and puts on one of Tamar's little light pink dusters or whatever to help lighten up her look. So David says, I know dream work is real, but I got to know what it's from. The last thing I want to do is tell Goldie on camera, I don't think your methods are God. You don't have to tell that to her face. You've already said that on fucking camera, so it don't fucking matter. So then he says, imagine what that does to Goldie's business. What you'd be doing is destroying her business for life. So now he's trying to play the mind game where he's trying to make it seem like, oh, I don't want to fuck up this lady's business. Tamar, if you go through with this, you're going to be responsible for destroying her business, like playing on her fucking intelligence and her fucking emotions and trying to make it seem like she'll end up being the bad guy. Mind game. So Tamar says, that's your opinion. Tamar at this point is very frustrated, hella annoyed. Goldie in the other room fucking crying and shit because she's offended. Her feelings is hurt. It's just too much. I would understand. Like, don't nobody want to be in this toxic ass environment every fucking day when I've been called here to do a fucking job and I can't even do it. So Goldie tells Michael Beck, my teacher told me they were going to make fun of the work and there are too many successful actors that would be offended by being shamed like this. I have a brand to protect. And I understand where that woman is coming from. And I understand what her teacher told her because, you know, especially, I hate to say black people, but black people always suspicious of something, always, you know, making fun of something. They don't like therapy. You know, they always just think you need to go talk to God, which is wonderful. I talk to God all the damn time. God is everything. God is a healer, but sometimes you need more than God. God can only do but so much. You know what I'm saying? You need to ask for help, you know, with somebody that, you know, whether they're a priest or a pastor or a therapist or a counselor, you always can get as much knowledge as possible when you need help on certain situations. So I understood why her teacher was probably apprehensive about her doing this show because people are ignorant. They, you know, did make fun of the process. They didn't understand it. So Tamar calls Michael Beck into the room and says she's worn out and needs to go to sleep and that David doesn't want to put his family on TV and have them look dumb or whatever. And I'm like, once again, when did this show become about David? So Michael says they can separate his family from the whole DreamWorks thing. That don't even have to be even near each other. So Goldie tells the guy that works for Tamar that she can't work with Tamar with so many obstacles in the way. And he encouraged her just to push through because she's a good woman and they know her intentions. So Tamar says, you know, I have no desire to talk to David right now. She is just, her soul had already left the building. I have been there. I know exactly where that woman was mentally. Like, she was just gone, like gone. So Michael calls David and requests that when he's free, he comes see how the process with the DreamWorks thing works and to talk to Goldie. So David tells Tamar that he's going to come that day to see how this whole thing works and to talk to Goldie. Once again, I want to know, when did he become her manager? When did he become her husband? When did he become her overseer that we got to get the okay from David in order to fucking proceed? That ain't nothing but your boyfriend, a boy that is your friend, a man friend. He ain't put a ring on it. He ain't your husband. He ain't your pastor. He ain't your God. When did he become the overseer and the say-so of what goes on this television show and in your fucking life? Girl, bye. I wish a nigga would. So Tamar tells him that Goldie is upset and everything, you know, her feelings are hurt and that she feels everything. So Goldie tells Tamar that it's hard to see her being shamed for the work that she's trying to do. I mean, we all see that David is the problem. So Tamar says, you know, I don't think you have a clue what's going on. It's not that, you know, and if you keep on crying, I'm going to cry, this, and that. So Goldie tells Michael Beck that, you know, she's starting to break down and she can't hardly do her job because there's always a block, there's always an issue. And she at this point wants to quit. And I would have quit too because y'all ain't about to do me. So Mona shows up because, you know, she's heard about all the ruckus and she comes to talk to Tamar and Goldie. So she feels that David told his family too much about the dream work shit. He should have just let them interpret it on his own. And she points out that they keep on focusing on everyone else's issues but Tamar, and that's the problem. Like, Tamar at that point, it seemed like she was living her life for everybody else, especially for David. Like I said, episode 1, it's too many motherfuckers around her, too many yes men, too many fucking people in her orbit every day. She don't have a mind of her own. Then you got this negative ass nigga in her life. She don't have her fucking family. It was just too fucking much. So Goldie and Mona talk, and Goldie says, you know, that Tamar is a ray of sunshine, but everything around her is negative, which we all see. Mona says to Tamar, when it comes to the show, there's so much that they're not getting access to, and that she needs to let them in. And every day, Tamar is upset and distracted, but it has nothing to do with stuff that's going on with her personally. And so she was like, at this point, where I need to know, are you in or not? And Tamar was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being penalized for being Tamar. And I was like, I don't think that I didn't feel like they were penalizing her for being Tamar. No, I felt like they were trying to tell you in a roundabout way, bitch, you got too much shit around you that don't mean you no good. Everybody in your life ain't meant to be there, child. So Mona said, you need to deal with everything. You know, is Tracy coming Saturday for this party? So David's having a birthday party or something that weekend. So Tamar was like, I don't know. My other sisters aren't interested in coming, which is very, very sad. And Mona asks, is she really prepared to let her family go? And Tamar says she doesn't want to discuss it in front of the camera crew because how things have been portrayed on Braxton family values throughout the year. Their show destroyed their family pretty much. So Tamar says that they don't see each other outside of filming, which is so sad that show has really fucked that sisterhood up. But I feel like that show exposed the underlying things and issues in that family. It really did. They always tried to blame everything on Tamar. And don't get me wrong, Tamar was a catalyst to a lot of the mess, but each and every one of them girls, including the mama, including the daddy, including Vince, including Tracy's husband, played a part, including Tawanda's husband, including Trina's husband, played a part in the foolishness that went on that show and in that family. So Tamar says that she invited them to David's party and to Thanksgiving, but no one is interested in coming. And that has to really hurt. That really has to hurt. So Mona says it's incredibly unhealthy for you to accept that you're on the outs with your family. And Tamar was like, it's hard to be constantly rejected. And what am I supposed to do, beg? Which I understand, like, what am I supposed to do? They have tried everything at this point. They didn't try talking to what's the preacher name? I can't think of his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. They didn't try talking to Eon. They have done everything under the moon to try to get their family together. But until the other sisters decide to take responsibility for their actions and their mama and the daddy, it ain't gonna never be right. One person can't be the problem. You know what I'm saying? So Goldie comes back in and Mona tells her that they're not gonna focus so much on the career stuff. They're gonna start focusing on her family, which Tamar is all gun ho for because she sees that the process is really working. So David arrives at the end of the episode to have his confrontation with Goldie because he wants to know what price Tamar is going to have to pay to work with Goldie, because, you know, other people have done voodoo and done sacrifices and had to pay for something. So he wants to know what's going to be her sacrifice. Will it be her? Will it be him? Will it be Logan? And this, and that. Like, nigga, shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't even had a conversation with this woman and you're judging her based off what I don't the fuck know. No, it's because you want to X this woman out because you're afraid she gonna tell Tamar, this man don't mean you no good and you need to get him out your life. You don't want nobody in her life that's going to be able to see you for your works and push your ass out. That's exactly what that is. That's why when they showed the trailer for what's going to happen later on in the season, we hear him in the room saying, you're not going to separate me from Tamar. Nigga, that nigga is crazy. He was a user and he's crazy. I know I just saw a picture of him this week on the blogs on a boat with all of his friends and allegedly the new bitch that he already fucking with, his side chick or whatever. Happy as a clam, ain't no problems. That lets you know that that nigga never meant her no motherfucking good. I'm happy that she got the nigga out her motherfucking life. Child, let me know what y'all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. Make sure you guys watch my luxury handbag collection video as well as my home tour video. They're both up right now. I will see you guys Saturday night for Power. Love you. Bye.